up die. Feel the vibe, get ready to ignite. Untold stories in the airways, flying through the night. Experience voices, tales so bold. Streaming live, the truth unfolds. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, so I remember I share and subscribe. Join the side where truth can't hide. Aliens in the attic, UFOs in the sky. Cryptids lurking, oh my, oh my. Ghosts in the hallway, whispering your name. The paranormal, the unexplained. Become a VIP, get the inside scoop. Unlock the mysteries, be part of the group. Live streaming stories, they're talking to you. Super chats buzzing, join the crew. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wild member ride. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can hide. So if you've got the guts and you want to explore, tune into the untold, it's what you're looking for. From aliens to ghosts and all that's unseen. Untold Radio Network, where the world's mysteries convene.
Good morning, everybody, and a happy holidays to you. We are coming to you as a pre-recorded episode here today, so hope your holidays are going well and safe and merry for everyone out there, and that's awesome. So we're not live today. We are pre-recorded, but I have an awesome guest here with me in the studio today. She is a member of my own team, Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. And we will get to that in just a second. But coming up next year, we guys are going to be at the Contact Modalities Expo, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Delavan, Wisconsin. There's a whole bunch of people there on your screen if you're watching this on video. Otherwise, I'm not going to read them all to you because there's a ton of them. Dean Bertram, though, also one of the other show hosts here on the network, myself, we are going to be at this event. Big 3-day event there in Delavan. Come on out, check it out. Mediums and psychics and UFOs, contactees, all kinds of stuff. Going to be a good time. And of course, we are going to be at Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Convention Saturday, May 9th in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, with a Bigfoot expedition the night before that. Tickets are very limited to that event. And so tickets go on sale January 1st coming up. We are also going to be at the Chicago Paranormal Convention Saturday, June 13th in Countryside, Illinois. And way out in October of this year, we are going to be at the Belleville Public Library. More events as we get them lined up. But that's what we got for now. So hopefully you guys can come out and check those out. That's all I got. It's coming up here on the end of the year with the holidays and stuff. So only a couple more and we get into the brand new year. So with that being said, let us get to our guest today. It's always a good show here when I get to interview my own team members. So I'm really excited to have her joining me on today's show. My guest is Ellie Weisensel. She is rooted in a deep, lifelong connection to the spiritual world. Ellie Weisensel initially pursued a path in science, earning 2 degrees and dedicating over 3 decades to the food industry and a science-based government agency. However, during the latter years of her scientific career, a more insistent spiritual calling began, gently guiding her towards blending her analytical mind with the world of energy healing. This unexpected transition led her to become a Reiki master and a certified psychic medium, specializing in the complex works of entity release. A role Spirit revealed was part of her soul agreement. Further expanding her expertise, Ellie integrated the emotion code and the body code into her practice, and following a spiritual nudge to look deeper into clients' blood work, she learned to read blood chemistry, allowing her to connect emotionally, energetically, and physiologically imbalances in a profound way, all while maintaining her lifelong residency within the small radius of her Wisconsin birthplace. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show my own KEPS team member, Ellie Weisensel. Ellie, happy holidays. How you doing?
Good morning. Happy holidays. I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderfully. I don't know if you listen to the show. I talk about you and Stephanie all the time, and high praise to both of you. I want to tell you right off the bat. I mean, you guys are absolutely amazing members of the team. There's a lot of people out there, that don't believe in psychics or don't believe in this stuff, and I have had nothing but respect for the both of you. You guys have absolutely blown me away on our cases that we've done, knowing just amazing things that nobody should know without, being able to do the things that you guys can do. So off the bat,
thank you.
Absolutely. You have some very unique talents that come along with this. Like each medium, each psychic, each person that I have on the show has different what do you call it, modalities or whatever that they work. Specialties. Yeah. Okay. And even on the team, like each one of us, as you know, has different specialties that we delve into, and that allows us to work better as a team. And right. that's why CAPS works so well. But we don't I was talking to you before we started recording here. It's like there's so much about you. I've worked with you for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And I'm still learning stuff about you and the stuff that you can do. So I'm really excited to delve into this because you have the blood work stuff, the body code, and the emotion code. I'm sorry, I had missed
emotion code, and there's the belief code. Yep.
And I'm not familiar with that, and we haven't had a guest on the show that's kind of delved into that. So let's start with the blood work code, the blood work stuff. What is that all about? Obviously, you're not taking blood samples.
Well, actually, what it is, I read blood samples that people do have taken at their doctor's office, and then it comes back with the results. And they're called, blood work is called actually markers, individual markers. And so what I do is I take those markers and I read them on the functional side instead of the Western medicine side. So as a doctor is looking at, you go into the doctor with complaints and issues, you don't feel good, you don't know what's going on, and you know something's wrong and something's off, and you go into the doctor, they run a bunch of blood work, and they come back with the markers, and they say, oh, everything looks fine, there's nothing wrong. But yet you don't feel right, and you know there's something wrong. So the Western medicine reads it, and their parameters are way out here, because you're looking at 100,000 people's markers. And as long as you fall within their range, they say you're fine, it's normal. When I read them on the functional side, and it's way down here like this. So if they're outside of my ranges, depending upon if it's high or if it's low, then I start looking at what markers correlate to that marker. And it's like putting a puzzle together. The more markers I have to look at, the better picture I get. But then I also work with spirit to find out how much deeper do we need to go? Once we figure out what's going on, then we look at, well, what are they missing? Vitamins? Are they missing minerals? What, is there something going wrong in the body? And I'm working with spirit with all of that to give a better clear-cut picture as to what's going on. Now, doctors look at things for a diagnosis so they can give medication. I don't do diagnosis. People can tell me what their diagnosis is. It doesn't matter, because that's not what I'm working with. I'm looking at what's going on in the body that we need to work with to correlate, to fix, so the body can heal itself. So that's what the blood work markers are.
Interesting. So it is more of an actual like blood thing. See, I was thinking it was more like not DNA, but more of your family history and kind of stuff like that.
That all falls in with the emotion code, body code, belief code.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
with blood work, I also pull in the emotion code, body code, belief code, because they still play a part into why you're not healing, those are stuck energies in the body, and they take up space in the body. And when they take up space, they're putting everything else kiltered out of place, and the body can't deal with them. So we need to release that so the body can start working on its own better.
Gotcha. Very cool. We, from a CAPS team point of view, we've worked a lot of cases, and we get called to certain houses, and the client says, oh, well, I think my house is haunted, and, this is whatever's going on. There's a demon, usually. And we go in, and it's a lot of the time it's like this kind of stuff, not blood work, but, like there's something going on with the person specifically. Yeah. That they need to work on. And it's not as easy as clearing the house. It's something that's deeper with the person themselves. And that's not trying to be, picking on the person by any means, but it's just, things have happened in their life and that needs to work through. But that's really interesting. So staying with blood work for now, give me an example. Like, I mean, without getting too into, a personal case or anything like that, what do you mean when you're looking at the blood work? What is it that you're looking at?
I'm actually looking at an individual marker, like, your CBC has 5 parts to it, and those 5 different parts can tell me, like, if you've got a viral infection or a parasite or an iron deficiency. And so I'm looking at those 5 different markers, and depending upon which one is off is telling me what's kind of going on in the body. And then I'll look at other markers and other panels to either correlate with that, saying that, yes, that is, or no, we need to go in another direction. We need to look at a different panel. So it's kind of like this puzzle. We're putting these pieces together. So for an example, another example would be like your vitamin D. Mm-hmm. Our range for the vitamin D in the Western medicine is somewhere between, I think it's like 40 to 80, something like that. We like to see it between 80 and 100. So anything below an 80 is technically out of range. And your vitamin D in the body, we do not get enough from the food anymore. We do not get enough from the sun anymore. The vitamin D actually runs everything in the body. So I can pretty well guarantee you, I mean, everybody so far that I've ever looked at is low. And once you start bringing that vitamin D up into the normal range, you're going to start feeling better. Things are going to start working better in the body. But now when I'm working with spirit and I'm saying, okay, yes, your D is low, there's 1,001 different Ds out there. And so I work with spirit to find out which vitamin D is best for your body. And then not only that, what precursors are you missing that the vitamin D is so low in the body? Because you need certain precursors of certain vitamins to help the D get into the cells. So I'm working with spirit to find out, well, what precursors are you missing? Because blood work does not do all the testings on everything. So that's when spirit comes into play as well. I know the D is low. What else are we missing in the body that we need to bring that D up? And then which specific vitamin do we need? What brand do we need to bring that D up?
That's really cool. how, it's really interesting. Like, and I do want to point this out for the, the waiver disclaimer at the beginning, that none of this is considered professional medical advice.
No.
Take it for what it is. We're not trying to, replace your doctor, blah, blah, blah. There,
Yep.
have a hug. All right.
Exactly. I'm not a doctor. I do not ever tell somebody to get off a medication. They have to work with their doctor on that. And that's why I don't do any diagnosis of any kind. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to figure out what's going on in the body, what's missing in the body, and what do we need to work with to help the body work itself.
No, and this is why I want to put that disclaimer in there, because like I know what you can do. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I've worked with you and Stephanie both in the field. You both are amazing and have blown my mind on so many cases that it's so interesting when you take these things. Like I don't go to the doctor because I figure anything that the doctor is going to tell me in the 5 minutes that he's in the room with me, I can probably find on Google, and that's honest. I've never gone to the doctor and been like blown my mind, like, oh wow, I have a cold. Never once have I been to the doctor and had a revelation like that. And it just like I said, it blows my mind, the stuff that you guys come up with, and I know that it's legitimate, the spirit side of this stuff with you guys. And so it's fascinating that you're able to take the modern medicine side of this and expand it into other things and bring that spiritualism in. And, Western civilization, I've talked about this on other shows, like is so different. We consider ourselves in the United States such like a melting pot of culture and, religions and all this stuff. But yet we have this very limited viewpoint of things like death and medicine and even certain religion, that this is the way it is in the United States. And that just,
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had this discussion with other guests and stuff as well. Like it just seems so weird that, we do have like other, like Ethan on our team. He was a funeral director for a little while, and he's talked to me about like all different, like the Hmong culture and the funerals that the monks have and stuff is very different than what our typical casket in a church and a pastor and stuff is. It's just so interesting, these different ways that it's done. And the medicine side of this is absolutely fascinating as well, because here you're taking this medical science aspect and bringing in the metaphysical with it. So when you're looking at this, I'm sorry, if you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say what brought it into my world was I was actually taking somebody to her chemo appointments. And because she was sitting in a chair for 6 to 8 hours a day, she could not drive. So I was driving her there, and it was an hour one way. So I would sit there with her during the whole day and then drive her back. And they would always do certain blood work up on her. And I was as I'm sitting there, she was going into her gynecologist on her own. And so I was sitting out in the lobby, and then she'd get her results back and she would show them to me, and I would hear spirit say, they're missing it. They're missing it. They're missing it. Then it got to the point she asked me to sit in on the gynecologist with her because I couldn't figure out what that meant, that they're missing it. So as they're talking, I would hear again, they're missing it. So then I found somebody that had the functional side to blood work and sat down and started learning it and understanding it. And that was what spirit was telling me. It was that they were missing things. They weren't connecting the dots because they were only looking at the one marker saying, oh, it's in range, it's fine, when it wasn't in the functional range, and it wasn't fine. And so that was spirit leading me to learn how to do the markers, the blood markers.
That's absolutely amazing. Isn't that really cool? Like, I mean, like I probably do, but I don't pay attention to spirit. But I get these same like things where I'll be researching something and it'll take me down a completely different path. And I learn all this other cool stuff because I've diverted down there, and it's such a cool phenomenon that you go down these things. So with that being said, you were already doing the body code and the emotion code prior to that. So now tell me a little bit about what those are, and then tie that in. How does this all work together?
Okay, so the emotion code would be like a level 1. We're working with emotions. emotions being stuck in the body someplace. So you're just finding these emotions and releasing them. Sometimes you're finding where they're in the body and releasing it, but you're not really deep diving. The body code, you're deep diving. You're going into systems, you're going into glands, you're going into the organs, you're going into the chakras, you're going into the auras. It's much more deep diving. And the belief code is when you're actually, because when we're born pure, but as we're growing up, we're taking on the beliefs of parents or grandparents. When we start going to school, we're taking on the belief of the school and socialism and all that stuff is starting to play a part. Those aren't the beliefs that we take in are not necessarily true to ourselves. So then the belief code, we go in and find out what those beliefs are, what's holding them in place, and releasing all that. So then the emotion code is like a level 1, the body code's a level 2, and the belief code would be a level 3. Now, I've taken it deeper when I was actually getting my level 2, which is the body code. I was helping somebody else through cancer. She had breast cancer, and she was going in for her chemo treatments, and I was doing the body code on her and the emotion code. And she would go in for the testings before they would actually do the chemo, and they were watching the white blood cells. And as those white blood cells drop from the chemo, it gets to a certain level, and the doctor would say, we can't do chemo today. We got to let your body do more healing. We'll check again in 2 weeks. She was right at that cutoff point, and the doctor said, we're going to go ahead and do your chemo today. However, if it drops again next time you come in, we're not going to be able to do it. We're going to have to give you a little bit of a break so your body can heal. And she got a hold of me and she started crying. She says, I want to get through this. I got to get this done. I want my life back. What can you do? And I sat down working with spirit, and spirit says, well, we need to take apart the white blood cell. So we literally found every aspect of the white blood cell, took it apart. I took each part of that white blood cell and took it from whatever percent of unhappy it was, because I ranked it from 0 to 100, and took it up to be 100% happy. So I did that on every part of the white blood cell. Then I put that white blood cell back together to make sure it was 100% happy. Then I put it back within her body and made sure her body was 100% happy with that white blood cell. So when she went in for her next chemo treatment, and the doctors ran the numbers, he thought for sure they would not be able to do the chemo. He comes out and he looked at her. He says, I don't know what you did. Not only did your white blood cells stabilize, they actually went up. So we can do your chemo treatment. And he just said, I don't know what you did. And she said, don't ask because you wouldn't understand. And he just said, that's fine. Keep doing whatever it is you're doing. And so then going forward, I always check to make sure her white blood cells were 100% happy. I'll check on them every day. And if something would trigger them that they start losing that, then I would work on it with spirit to bring it back up to 100% happy. So, but with that, I was actually going deeper than I should have been, because I got yelled at by my mentor saying, that's not what the body code does. And I'm thinking, but that's what spirit's telling me. And that's what the person needed. So I would literally, when I would write up my reports, not go as deep in my reports to make my mentor happy so I could get my certification. So I had to do what I had to do for my client, but I had to do what I had to do to get my certification. And trust me, it's gone much deeper than that since I've been certified. I mean, we go into past lives, future lives. We have parallel lives. I mean, I work on all that stuff with spirit. So it goes much deeper. I've kind of created my own protocol by taking everything I do and created my own protocol. So
that's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, like, to be able to see the results, I'm very techie. I like, when you guys say, oh, spirit says yes, right? Or when we're talking to a spirit, not necessarily just spirit, but when a spirit of a person is there at these investigations and stuff, and you say, oh, they say yes. And I'm like, well, make them, make the REM pod go off. And it does, right on cue with everything that you're doing. That's just whatever that means. It means that we're getting validation on these multiple levels. You get the pendulum, you get the my brain is not working today. The sticks.
We call them talking sticks.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you get those, you get the REM pods, you get the EMF, all spikes the same, and it's really cool. And here you're taking that so much farther with medical as being saying, you know, like you can fix the body and show it on a medical test that it has worked.
Yeah.
That's
we don't actually fix the body. We release what needs to be gone so the body can work and heal, because the body technically can heal itself. Once you get the crap out of the way that's not supposed to be there, the body can heal itself. And that's all we're doing, is getting the crap out of the way.
absolutely. I'm sorry, I misspoke, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, if the body can fix itself, you're just helping it do it, and that's so cool. That's so cool. We hear, like, you know, stories of that too, like, you know, people sending well wishes, this energy and stuff, and it helps, you know, people get through this stuff. And, you know, it's just amazing stories. You know, like, I don't know, I don't read like the Chicken Soup for the Soul and all that. Is that still a thing? Like my aunt used to read all those books and all these Hallmark Channel things.
They're still out there. I don't know if new ones are out anymore, but they're still out there. Yeah. She used
to get them every year for Christmas. We'd buy her one, the new Chicken Soup for the Soul or something.
Yeah.
All these happy stories.
Well, it's the same as when we do clearings of people that have entities. I mean, they feel it on the spot, that they feel so much different once they're cleared.
Oh, absolutely. We have, I think, you know, well, actually we can talk about the one house up by Park Falls.
Yeah.
That was the younger daughter, or the granddaughter of the family that was having this entity come to her. And we're all standing in the kitchen there in the episode. And this is Ghost Town of Terror episode is what it was. And we're all standing in the kitchen there, and you're doing this entity release of this dark entity that's there. And we can literally feel when it leaves. I mean, you have this oppression, this darkness and stuff there. And for a while, it got really intense when you got rid of, there was a couple other things there that you cleared out.
We kind of did it in layers. It wasn't just a one-shot deal that time, because there's a couple different things going on. Yes.
Yeah. And then the one was in the bathroom, standing there with you. I just want to point out, if you're watching this, the cat, every once in a while I can see the tail come up on the screen.
I know. I've been sitting here all morning and not a cat in sight. As soon as I get on the show, it's like I've got 3 of them in here now.
They want to be famous. They'd like to be on the show.
Yeah, they do.
Yep, that's okay. But no, we had the entity, and it didn't want to leave, and it physically got really intense there, like where you felt kind of, or I'm sorry, I guess I'll speak for myself. I felt kind of sick and just kind of like apprehensive, anxious. And then all of a sudden I didn't know that you were done or whatever, but all of a sudden it was just like, whew, and this energy just lifted, and you're just calm.
Yep.
For anybody, I hope that nobody else has to experience this, you know, in these situations and stuff. But if you ever are in a situation like this, it's you could feel it. There's no other way to describe it. So.
Yeah. They can be really intense, but you can really feel the difference once they're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. But then, like, you know, like we mentioned again in the beginning, you know, these things, they come back, and for whatever reason and stuff, sometimes different ones, not necessarily the same one, but and that's why it's important to do the body code and all that stuff to keep yourself safe in that. So that's an awesome transition. So the other point of my show today is, Ellie, I wanted to have you on because you do all the clearings and the negative entity releases and stuff for our team. And I've had Mr. Chad Lewis on our show here in the past, and I absolutely adore Chad as well. And he talks about all these the holiday season here and the solstice. And a lot of people may or may not realize, I assume if you're watching the show, we probably realize that this is a very dark, spiritually charged time of year, and that the holidays, the solstice, the winter solstice is just as dark and negative as what we think of when we think of Halloween, because it is the darkest day of the year. It's the longest day of the year. And you have a lot of these rituals that we have in our homes for the holidays and stuff. A lot of these traditions and stuff come from trying to bring light and joy and stuff into this, and celebrating that from now on, this is going to be a brighter time of the year, and it's going to get lighter, and that stuff. So it's very, I asked you on for this specifically because, you know, when we're going to all these holiday events and holiday gatherings and stuff, and mixing with people of different, you know, emotions and backgrounds and things, how can we protect ourselves from these dark emotions, you know, that people have? It's a very dark time of year for that as well. So how do we protect ourselves in the holiday season?
There's a number of different ways. And you talk about the veil. The veil used to be much thicker after the 1st of November. It always got thinner, like in the month of October for Halloween. And then it would get thicker after the 1st of November. That's not so much the case anymore. The veil is getting very thin, and it's getting very thin throughout the full year now. And so your heaviness that you're feeling between Christmas and New Year's, well, actually from Thanksgiving to New Year's and that, it's a stressful time. As much as it's the holidays and we think of it as being happy and joyful and family and friends, and it's also very stressful. And so the stress that we feel isn't always just our own, but we also feel other people's stress. And so there's a lot of things that we can do to help with that. The first thing is you need to raise your vibrations. The higher you can raise your vibrations, the less you feel of that darker side. So raising your vibrations is the best thing to do. Sunlight, even though the days are shorter, spend some time out in the sunlight. And then hug a tree. If you live in northern, like here in Wisconsin, we've got probably close to a foot of snow on the ground. You can't be walking outside in bare feet on the ground, but you can still go hug a tree. And that energy from the tree will help raise your vibrations as well. Keep in mind that for every light, there's always dark. You got the yin and the yang, the light and the darkness. So use that darkness side to find out what part of you needs to be healed, and working on healing your inner self. You may have an inner child that needs to be healed. You may have an inner hurt from something you went through back when you were a kid or in your teens or 20s or whatever that needs to be healed. Healing those darker sides will help raise your vibration as well for this time of the year. Listening to music that makes you happy is an awesome thing to do to raise your vibration. During the winter months, when our houses are closed up, the air in the houses becomes stale. They get caught in the corners, especially up in the ceilings, in the corners of the ceilings, or along the corners of the floor, the boards on the floor. Take a broom and sweep deep into those corners and get that energy moving, so that you don't have that stale energy sitting there, or taking the broom and up into the ceiling in the corners to move that energy, opening up a window and letting that stale energy go out so you can get fresh air into the house. So those would be a few things you could do to help you get through the darkness. And this time of the year gets to be kind of a drag because we're kind of caught inside the house. We're not out enjoying the everyday of like riding a bike or going swimming or boating or whatever. We're kind of caught in the house. We're stuck in the house, especially when we have snowstorms coming through. So there's a number of things, and those are just a few things you can do to help raise your vibration, to make the changes to get you through what you need to get through, if that helps.
What about like, you know, we're doing a lot of family and, friends and gatherings and stuff like that. How can we help protect ourselves in situations where we're at these events, with a lot of other people, like I said, with a lot of other emotions and stuff going on? How can we protect ourselves from a lot of the empaths and stuff out there that are overwhelmed by a lot of people and stuff? What can we do to try to build ourselves up in these social gatherings?
If you're going to a social gathering or if you're running to a store, envision yourself in a white light, and that's a protective white light. Envisioning it coming down, protecting yourself, covering yourself up completely with that white light, and just putting it into the universe. Anything that comes at me bounces off of this white light, goes back to where it came from. So you're not taking it in. So that's one of the things you do. Another thing you could do is when you get home from a gathering, if you're feeling like you might have taken something on, take a shower. Let the water come down, hit the head, and imagining it, taking it all off the body as that water's coming down, and imagining it going down the drain. And when it goes down the drain, it's going down into the ground and down to Gaia for the Gaia to purify it. So that's another thing you could do. Drink plenty of water. Water is a good energy within the body to keep things flowing so things don't get stuck in the body. Being festive, wearing bright colors. And then crystals are another great thing that you can wear that will help keep you clear, like especially like if it's selenite crystals, that'll help keep you clear. And then there's some other crystals out there that you can wear for protective. Lapis lazuli is a great one, or the amethyst is a great one. The amethyst is purple. It's a beautiful color. You can wear that. That's a protective one as well. So there's things you could do with that as well, if that helps.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like it's very much intent. You have to, it takes practice, to maintain this and, to put that white light around you and maintain it, constantly think about it and practice it and stuff, so it's something that you can do year round, just as a protective and, anytime that you're feeling down or so.
There's certain stores I walk in that before I walk in, I put myself into the white bubble. I'm not going to name the stores, but you're laughing.
We already know what stores.
Yeah. But I automatically put myself into a white bubble because I know what's in there and I'm not bringing anything. And then when you walk out of the store, just simply say, I'm not taking any negative energies with me. I'm leaving them behind. But you're right. Intent is huge. The universe will not step in to help you until you ask them, because we all have free will. So we all have that choice. So until you break that free will and ask the universe to help you, it's not going to.
Absolutely. I agree. That's fascinating. I do want to bring up here, because we're talking about what can you do to, teach people, what can they do and stuff. And this hasn't been announced yet. This is supposed to come out in January, but because you're here, we are one of the amazing workshops that we are going to have this year at the Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Convention, Saturday, May 9th in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, is Miss Ellie Weisensel. And you can take a actual class workshop with Ellie at this event. It's a separate fee. And it's kind of all about this. What is it that you're going to be actually talking about and teaching people, Ellie?
What I'm actually going to be doing is kind of teaching you different ways of how you can communicate with spirit. Some of the different tools that are out there, and they're very simple tools. You can get them in most local stores, and they're not that expensive, like a deck of cards, the oracle cards, the tarot cards, the talking sticks, the pendulums, the Ouija board. That gets so misrepresentative that I want to talk about the Ouija board. These are simple tools that you can use to communicate with spirit if you're looking at trying to open yourself up with more communication with them. And then I'm also going to talk about how protection, different protections on what you can do to protect yourself. Because if you're not careful when you're opening yourself up, and using these tools. And it's not just the Ouija board. This can happen with any tool you have. You can actually bring in the darker spirits. Trust me. Unfortunately, that's how I opened myself up. Was I got out my pendulum and I asked a certain question, and I got the dark entities coming in. So I'm teaching also how to protect yourself so you don't have that happen. So that's what I'll be doing at that class.
That is very much intent. I talk about it in my Exploring Paranormal presentation as well. Is, like you said, when you open up a Ouija board, people make the mistake of saying, "Is anyone here with me?" And you have just thrown that door wide open to anything to come and talk to you. You want to be very specific with who you ask to communicate and when and where. So absolutely.
That was my mistake when I pulled out the pendulum. I never worked with one before. I had a couple of them, and I had something go on in my life, and I pulled it out, and I just simply said, "Is there anybody out there that wants to talk to me?" And the first person I came across was somebody that I was supposed to connect with. She's the one that actually helped open up the door for me, and an agreement we had made in a past life. But then after I got done talking to her, then I also brought up that question again, and then I had the dark entities come through because I didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And I was just opening up anybody out there. And of course, yes, there is. There's always spirits are all over, and they're not always all good. So, man, you open up that door. If you don't open it up correctly, you don't know what you're going to get. And I learned that one the hard way. But that was also part of my path, was to learn how to deal with entities. And that's how, and so I became an expert with that. The spirit was not giving me anything else until I became an expert with that. And so I finally had enough people tell me to become the expert and to deal with it. And then as soon as I did and I agreed to, then everything else started flooding in for me.
I think that's really responsible of spirit as well, because like if you don't have the knowledge and you try and just jump right into this and think that you're going to go and you're going to, like you said, miss stuff, and you learn things at the course and the time when you're supposed to, and it all leads to where we're going. And that's just so cool to think about that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
But yeah, we are not live today. Just want to bring that up again. We are a recorded show today, but coming up January 1st, we are going to have tickets on sale for CapCon in Fond du Lac. And like I said, Ellie's going to have a workshop there. It is a separate ticket for that event, other than your general admission, just because these are actual classes, not just a presentation. So they're interactive. You can sit and ask questions, more one-on-one, smaller group of people, and very, very hands-on and stuff for a lot of this stuff. So it's a workshop instead of a presentation, and tickets for that go on sale January 1st. So if you can't make it out there, Ellie, you have a website as well. And like I said, I bring this up midway here, or not midway, but right now, because we're not live. So people can't ask questions in the comments and stuff. But so I apologize if you're watching this live, because it is live on Christmas Day. But we're actually recording this December 3rd. So there you go. So we're very festive early. I'm very festive. Ellie, you look festive. You look nice. Just don't have the cool Santa hat.
You get the hat. You get the hat. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. It's okay. I forget. But your website is in the show notes. You can also go to wisconsincaps.com and you can find Ellie that way. She is you can get her email off of the Meet Our Team section, and Ellie is also on our trusted affiliates page on the website. So if you're looking, or come out to Capcom, even if you don't take the workshop, Ellie will still be there, and you can have a little chat with her as well. So
yep, I'll be there all day.
Awesome. I appreciate that. I want to ask you something, because you were talking about the veil thinning and stuff, and I was just on a show for Thanksgiving when we're taping this a couple days ago here, and it was me and a couple other people from the network and stuff, as well as Doug Hychek, our producer on the shows and stuff here, and they brought up a question, and I'm going to pose it to you, because so we've been having a lot of these electromagnetic storms off of the sun lately. With the Aurora Borealis and the Northern Lights and stuff, has been really heavily. And they asked in the show if, we've seen an uptick in paranormal or cryptid activity or anything because of the aurora borealis and the solar flares and that. So in your opinion, do you think that the electromagnetic storms from the sun and the high activity of that has an effect on the veil thinning? Is that why we're still seeing this?
I do. I feel that's because of the veil thinning, yes. And I do feel there's been an uptick because we've dealt with a few cryptid things that I've never dealt with before. And so it's yes, I do. I feel that it makes a difference and that it is affecting everything. So with the veil thinning, we are seeing more lights. I mean, in fact, wasn't it just a few days ago or last week we saw more lights here in Wisconsin, and that's not the norm for us.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I watch these people post on Facebook and stuff about the northern lights, the aurora borealis and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, it's so cool! It was so bright and so great." And I'm like, if you knew what that was, you wouldn't be as excited about it, because let me break that down scientifically here. So the sun puts off high electromagnetic field. It is radiation coming from the sun that hits the earth. And when it hits the atmosphere, it creates this electromagnetic storm in the atmosphere that creates the northern lights effect. If that gets strong enough, if we get a strong enough EM pulse off the sun, it will knock out our electric grid, all of our computers, all of our cell phones, and literally fry our technology. So please cheer for the northern lights. Because
I think they're gorgeous too, but yes, you're right. You are very right. Yes.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize that.
No, I know. It just boggles my mind, like I think most of the people that listen to my show, you're here for a reason. You know a lot of this stuff, and it's interesting because each show, yeah, there's a lot of the same stuff that we hear from the same people and that. But even myself, I get to pull little factoids out of each episode, and I'm like, wow, that was really cool, and that stuck with me. Something that I learned or something I never thought of before, and it's absolutely great to have those experiences and stuff. But I don't know that, these average people that walk around, there's so much to science that, again, going back to being a techie and stuff of, liking my tech and proving things in a scientific way and showing it, even though we know that there's metaphysical and all that. It's really interesting that science proves all this stuff and people don't know it. All the stuff going on with CERN and all the multi-dimensions and everything. And go ahead.
Everybody is a psychic. Everybody is, but they're not tuning into it because the world has so taken them over that they're just trying to live their day-to-day lives. And so they're not seeing anything else around them. So they're not realizing what those lights can do to us or what can happen if they actually all come through like that, because they're just trying to survive in their day-to-day life. So I understand that part of it. Our lives have gotten so much busier. When I think back to I'm going to date myself, back to the 70s, how carefree everything was. And you worked an 8-hour day and you got out and you were just gone for the day playing and what have you. That's not the case anymore. That's just not the case. We're so bombarded with everything, with the life and everything that's going on in the government and the world. And we're just getting so much more information so much faster on a daily basis that it's constantly hitting us, that we're just kind of tuning into ourselves because we don't want to deal with everything that's going on. So we're not really realizing what's going on, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. We're burnt out.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. We're very much burnt out.
I mean, it is so much so that you're seeing this trend of people going from, the touchscreen phones. People are getting away from that, going back to just like the candy bar stick phones or flip phone.
Flip phones, yes. I've recently heard about that too, is that more people are going back to the flip phones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just amazing. I remember when we used to get like the Black Friday papers. You remember when you actually got the
Yeah.
ads, Black Friday papers that don't exist
Yep.
anymore? And I'm flipping through there, and there's a Walgreens ad. And in the Walgreens ad, there's this cool new adapter. And, and what it was is it plugged into the phone jack of your cell phone, and it was an old handheld receiver.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh man, we've come full circle." And kids today are thinking this is the most amazing thing ever. Like, "Oh my
New
god!"
technology. New technology. Yes.
yeah, new technology. You don't remember how you used to buy the 20-foot cords so you could go and talk on the phone in a different room in your house,
Or I'll date myself further back, having a phone that was multiple families on one phone, one line.
Oh.
So you pick up the phone and somebody else is talking in a different household because you're sharing a line. That
wow.
that was back in the 70s, early 70s too, late 60s. Yes, it still existed back in then. So,
I mean, I like to think that I'm a lot more old soul than a lot of people. Like, I really like the old days, like you watch the old TV shows and movies where you have this lady sitting in a room and she goes, "Hello, switchboard, who can I connect you with?" And then she physically plugs it into the different phones and stuff. And I mean, like that was the good old days.
now you're really dating yourself.
when I first moved out of the house, I actually had a rotary phone. And it worked, everything. I knew how to use it and everything. So I just thought they were cool. And I had one. And the only reason I got rid of it was because we tried to order pizza on it one night and you can't press a button, like press one to whatever. And we ended up having to go get use one of our other phones because we had multiple phones, but we had to go get a different phone to call to order pizza because you couldn't press one on a rotary phone. And you could call the pizza place, but memories.
Yeah. The good old days.
Yeah. Oh man. It's just so like you drive down the road and even our billboards, you remember like the Burma shave, you used to have every mile you'd have one more sign for the Burma shave or some other companies and stuff that would have like a line of something and then you'd read the next one and the next one as you go.
It was like reading a story kind of.
Yeah. And nowadays you have these LED screens and stuff on the road, and
like 4 or 5 different stores or different as you're driving, you're watching them flip. Yeah,
that's just terrible.
Yeah.
This is why we're staying in our houses and not going out anymore. Just don't want to deal with
it. It's being bombarded.
Oh man, I want to go back to the solar flares and stuff. Now, when we were talking about the veil thinning, do you think that the veil is thinning because of the solar flare, or which way were you on that? Is the veil thinning because of the solar flare, or is there more solar flares because the veil is thinning?
I feel like there's more solar flares because the veil is thinning. I think the veil is thinning because of the direction everything is going in. If you think about it, we have there's special kids out there, and I can't think of what they're called. They have a special name to them. You have a lot more kids that are much more open to the spiritual world, and so things are opening up. You have a lot more empaths today than what you used to have, and I just think everything is changing. So I think it's because the veil is thinning is why we have the more flares.
So back in the day, again, we're going to date ourselves here, but back in the day,
I've done enough.
Well, this is even before my time, so I can't. I just researched.
Okay, we'll see if it's my time.
Yeah. No, I think this is way before your time too.
I hope so. Okay.
So you have the whole spiritual movement, right? You had these seances, and the people would go to these parlors, and this was like the big thing to do back in the day, like the 1800s or the early 1900s and stuff back then. Do you think that the veil, what we're seeing today with, like you said, the kids are being brought up by parents who are interested in this stuff and open to it, so you have this generational opening of minds and more openness, instead of the parents saying no, there's no such thing as this stuff, and closing it off? Do you think that back in the spiritualist time we had this same amount of openness?
I don't think so. I mean, it was there. I truly believe it was there. But back in the day, if you were classified as a witch, you were burned at the stake. And so it wasn't so open. I mean, even back in the 80s, when I was getting into all this stuff, in the 90s, and even 20 years ago, you had to know somebody that knew somebody to get you a reading with a medium. I mean, you were going down into the tunnels of you're going through doors that it's like, am I putting myself someplace I don't need to be, or something? You had to know somebody that knew somebody to talk to a medium to have a reading done. And that was only 20 years ago. Yeah. It's not like today, it's all over. I mean, you can type something in the internet and you're going to get all the information, and you're going to find any medium you want to find on the internet. 20 years ago, that wasn't the case. You had to know somebody that knew somebody. So
I agree. Like I grew up right down the street from a psychic medium, like the light up in the window that says psychic medium gallery open, those kind of places. And to me, the place felt like one of those places, like when you drive past like a strip club or one of the adult stores or something. It just felt like, look the other way. You don't want to look at that place because you don't want to be associated with that. And and I don't know why it felt that way, but it just felt like that kind of same dirty adult energy as these other things.
Because that's how you were raised.
Not necessarily.
Well, but that's on the social side.
Social.
So that played a factor in it for you. Way back, if you were classified as a witch, you were burned at the stake. That's not the case anymore. You don't have to worry about that. And that's why you can find them a medium all over the place, is because that's not something to worry about anymore. So, but I felt that what you were saying, social played a part of that it was still coming around, that it was still seeing things the way you were talking about, that felt dirty and yes, for some reason, when you walked into a place like that, they had the dimming of the lights, and that was kind of like to make the feel of, we're different, we're going to get you the information, and it's just, and that's what TV does. It's how TV plays a fact with it too.
No, absolutely. I was just thinking that too. Like you see in these movies, you go to the dark back room and the person with the crystal ball and the beaded door curtains. And now I'm sure there's a couple shows on TV that are like cop dramas where one of the main characters is a medium.
Yes, giving them information that they need.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's such a swing, and it's just so cool to see, like, this is becoming more and more mainstream and accepted. And people ask me on the shows all the time, like in the comments, is there more things coming? Like, is this more prevalent? Is the veil thinning and all this stuff? And I say, I don't think that it is, but I don't think that's it. I think that it's just becoming more socially acceptable to talk about these things, to have the Bigfoot encounter, to be able to talk about it publicly. There's the less ridicule of all these things.
Yes. And then being a medium, anybody who wants to be a medium nowadays can be one if they work hard at trying to figure things out and connecting with spirit stuff. There was a time they said in order to be a medium, it had to run through the bloodline. Well, I know where my mediumship came from, through the bloodline. And back in the day, my grandfather never talked about it. My mother never talked about it. I've got all the abilities. My sister has the abilities. both of my kids have the abilities, and my 5 grandkids have it. I've got 2 that have a lot of abilities, and the other 3 are kind of like, I think they'll come in time. So that plays a factor too, is we're much more open nowadays. I've talked to my grandkids who are very tiny or very young, and I've talked to them about it because they've seen spirit and they've seen apparitions, and it scares the crap out of them. So I talked to them about it. My mother never talked to me about it. My grandfather never talked to me about it because you didn't talk about it back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about one of the cases that we've worked. It's not on an episode, but the trailer house that we went to, and we were walking through the house, and the client in there is saying, I lived in this house and I had all this stuff there. And then I moved to the next house and it all, all these spirits are there. And now I moved here and this is all here. And he goes, well, if I move, will it fix the problem? And you're like, no, because it's not the house, it's you. And I think a lot of this stuff is, people with the abilities don't understand that they're seeing paranormal and having these interactions because they have these abilities. And, I've said this 100 times on the show. Once you have that paradigm shifting experience, whether it's seeing a UFO, seeing a cryptid, seeing a ghost, your brain, whether you intend it to or not, says either I'm absolutely insane and I'm hallucinating, or I really saw what I thought I saw. And I don't want to be insane. So if I saw what I saw, what else is out there? And all that does is it flips that little switch that you've been told your whole life that this isn't real, this isn't acceptable. You flip that switch that says this is real, and now you see it all over because you're open to it again.
Yes. Yes, you've opened it up and the universe gives it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But then so many people don't understand that they need to learn how to protect themselves, or what a lot of times if you're getting just an entity and you clear the entity and then you get something else, when I clear them, Michael really gets rid of them. They don't come back, but there's something going on in you that needs to be healed, that because you're not healed, your aura is open and that allows other ones in again. So clearing once may be okay for a while, but if you've got something that needs to be healed, chances are in time you're going to get something else coming in because they're just all over the place. Mm-hmm. And people don't understand they need to be healed. They need to have work done.
Look at it like this as a physical aspect, right? So you get a splinter, like a really bad splinter, and it's shoved in your arm, and you pull it out, your splinter's gone, and you think everything's great. Well, then that gets infected. So you wash it out, you clean it up. Oh, it's all better now. And it gets infected again because you're not, sewing up the hole or patching it. You're just cleaning it off. And it's going to keep coming back and keep getting infected again and again.
Yeah. Yeah. Or there's something going on in hereditary or inherited that's through the family lineage, that if you don't go back to the family lineage and clear it out in the family lineage, it's going to affect you again. So that's the same concept. Yes.
Those cutting ties that we hear about.
Yep.
Or cord.
So it just came to me. It's the indigo kids. If you hear about the indigo kids, mm-hmm. There's a lot of them out there. And that's part of spiritual opening up for everybody, is the indigo kids. So that was their name. I couldn't think of their names.
I have heard that term before, though. So
yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So we are coming up here on the end of the show. I apologize that we are not live in studio today. We want to spend time with our families on Christmas. And as much as I love Ellie, I don't see you on Christmas. But
no.
That's why we're here today. So hopefully, you guys, I want to thank you all for joining us here on Christmas or listening to us after the fact. But again, if you guys had questions throughout the show, I apologize that we're not here live to take those questions. But Ellie would be happy to answer your questions either at our convention coming up in Fond du Lac, or you can reach out, email her, and check it out. Ellie, tell us a little bit about everything that you do, on your website, the services that you offer, and how people can reach out to you.
The easiest is it's my email is ellieweisenzel@gmail.com. My website is ellieweisenzel.com. And it's gotten to the point that all you have to do is type in Ellie Weisensel and hit search, and I'll come up.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
You can type Ellie and caps, and she'll probably come up too at this point. So,
a lot of what we talked about today is what I do. I offer individuals. So if you want just an entity clearing, I offer that. If you want to get more in depth, I offer sessions for emotion code, body. I usually do emotion code, body code, and belief code together because they kind of intertwine together. It's kind of hard to do one without the other ones. But I do offer services for just that, and then I offer services just for the blood reading, and then I do offer services where it's all kind of tied together. So it kind of depends upon what the person needs. I always offer a 20-minute free consult where we can sit down and go over what is going on, what's the best route for you, and to help you out the best. What is it you specifically need? Because if you don't need blood work, I'm not going to offer it to you because you don't need it. But if you need it, that's all you need, that's fine. But if there's something else going on, and Spirit will kind of let us know, I'll let you know what's going on. And then we figure out what's best for you as an individual, what you need.
Very good. And again, I cannot recommend Ellie and Stephanie, both you guys, absolutely. Like, you guys are amazing at what you do. 100% have my backing and everything. And, there's few people that, not that I don't trust everyone or, other people and stuff, but I have worked with you guys very closely on a lot of cases, and 100% legit, 100% what you guys do. There's no way that you could know the things or do the things that you do if you weren't. So awesome.
It's been an incredible journey. And there are days it's like, what the hell am I doing with this? And there are days that it's like, I'm learning something new all the time. Like I said, when something needs to come in, Spirit throws it at me, and then sometimes I have to figure it out. And I'm always asking Spirit. I mean, I'm always asking Spirit for help to show me, to take me down the directions I need to go, and to make sure they put in front of me what I need to know. So, yeah, it's been incredible.
Absolutely. It's been absolutely a blessing having you on my team as well. So,
oh, thank you. I mean, you brought things to me that before you, the cats and all the cryptids and the aliens and all that. It's like, yeah, I didn't have a whole lot to do with any of that until I started working with you and under you. And it's like, oh, yeah, I knew of this stuff and I've heard of all this stuff, and now I'm dealing with this stuff. Okay.
We have had some incredible adventures together.
We have. We really have. And there are times we walk down, it's like, I'm not ready to go. Let's go back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And some places we can't get out of fast enough.
That is true too. That has been very true.
We don't need to get into it, but I will mention the house that you literally just stood next to the refrigerator the entire time.
That refrigerator was my shield.
Yes, that was a great investigation.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That was intense.
Yeah,
that one was intense.
That's another one. Just literally walking through the threshold of that place, just thinking about it makes my skin crawl. So
yeah. I was so glad I happened to be standing next to that refrigerator, because when I took a step back, it was just like it cut everything off, and then I could actually think and figure things out. That that refrigerator was my shield that day. And I never thought I'd need a refrigerator to shield me.
I'm glad we have these memories together. Awesome. Well, again, it's been absolutely a blast finally having you on my show. And we're gonna I think we need to have an all caps episode eventually, and just kind of go over some of the fun investigations and stuff that we've had. And I think the audience would really like that sometime live, where we can interact and stuff. And I think that'd be cool.
I think so. That'd be fun. Because there's stuff we do that, yeah, you're videoing everything, but you don't always make it into something. So
Yes.
yeah, I'd be fun to talk about some of them because some of them are pretty intense.
Yeah.
And some
and
of them are a lot of fun.
yeah. And the thing is, you know, some of these cases, the private home investigations, you know, you wonder like, well, why are we putting this out for the public? Well, for one, we do have permission from the homeowners, the clients and stuff to use this footage. They have to sign a release and stuff before we get into any of that. That's why some of this stuff we can't go into detail about because it's not an episode or whatever. But we learn something, and it's important because we can teach you, this is what happened, this is what's causing it, this is how to deal with it through the investigations that we do with these clients. And I think that's more important than just going out and ghost hunting. You know, we're showing you, like, if you're experiencing this, this is possibly what it is, and this is how you can help without having to reach out and, you know, make yourself look like you're crazy or that you don't want to tell people you're having these experiences. You can watch the show and go, that's like me. And
I
maybe
felt that. Yep. Yep, definitely.
Awesome. All right, Ellie, I will not take up any more of your time here today. I appreciate it. Thank you for spending today with me. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Yeah, I appreciate
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Ellie.
Okay. Bye.
All right, guys, that is our episode for today. I hope you guys have an awesome holiday, a Merry Christmas, and whatever you celebrate, I hope it's wonderful and safe and happy for you guys. And next week's Christmas New Year's episode will also be pre-recorded, and I should, if things go well, have Stephanie Lynn from our team on that episode. So hopefully she comes on and, you know, gets her button gear and records with me. So we will see her then, but you got that to look forward to. Until next time, guys, remember, we're all part of the paranormal spectrum. Take care, be well, happy holidays, and I'll see you next week.
You seem to know something I don't. What's going on?